Before getting into the video, I felt that I had to just come out and say that in this time where, you know, this disease, the coronavirus is going all over the place, um, things are happening, schools are closing, public places are being told to operate at small hours or just shut down completely. And for those people who like going to the gym, they feel it's, people say, for some people, the gym was their stress relief. It was their second home. To that, I would say, people, calm down. It's important that we try to stay calm and that we just keep good hygiene. We've been hearing these messages for years about keeping good hygiene, but now they're just more important than ever. And as far as working out is concerned, you can work out from home. It is very possible. I feel that if you were an active gym goer, it's important that you keep working out because it helped you. It helped you with your health. It helped you maintain your stress. And in this situation where people are even being laid off from their jobs, it's important that you keep that mindset. So I'll leave a link to the channel's Instagram, not my personal Instagram, but the channel's Instagram, where I'll be posting home workouts on a regular basis just to help give you guys ideas. If it'll help you take your mind off things, help take the edge. If you appreciate, I hope you appreciate that, and just stay calm, and we will get through this now. Onto the video.
What up? So following up on the last video that I made about Tony Ferguson, this video is going to talk about Khabib Nurmagomedov. Before I get into this video, I should actually point out something very critical that has been talked around on YouTube, and that's the fact that the UFC as of right now is not 100% certain that this fight's gonna happen. Okay, let me just be clear. Dana White is determined for this fight to happen, even if he has to have it in orbit. This fight has been booked and cancelled 4 different times. He cannot handle a 5th time. None of us can handle a 5th time. But it is important to keep in mind that with the current state of the world, this may be out of even Dana White's hands. So let's just keep that in mind. But I promised a video on Khabib, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to give the 3rd video on who I feel what will be the deciding factor. So with that said, let's get into it. So right off the bat, with Khabib Nurmagomedov, he is unbeaten at 28-0, which honestly speaking, MMA is a freaking miracle. Unbeaten, because MMA is in boxing. Promoters will not do you any favors. Well, they will if you can bring in, lots of money, but they have to sell you to the public. They have to sell you as a world beater. And Khabib has smashed every person put in front of him. So right off the bat, we have to address the fact that Khabib has amazing conditioning, and that stems from where he was born. Khabib was born in Dagestan, Russia. And for those of you who don't understand, Dagestan is an area of high elevation. For those of you who may not understand this, certain areas in the world are higher or in higher altitudes, so oxygen is a lot thinner in those places. I'm sure we're all familiar with the expression of the higher you go, the thinner the air becomes. Some of these places include Mexico City and Denver, Colorado, and Dagestan is one of them. So Khabib pretty much spent his adolescence growing up in a place where oxygen was pretty thin. So yeah, he can go 25 minutes. His conditioning is not in question, which is one of the reasons people are so excited about this fight. Most of Khabib's opponents do start to gas out, but Ferguson will not be one of them. But let's go into more about Khabib. So yeah, his conditioning is something that he has perfected throughout his childhood. So yep, this is going to be interesting. The other thing that's to consider is the Khabib's striking. His striking has come leaps and bounds from his early days in the UFC, and that's because of his training at AKA. And yeah, they basically, one thing I like is that they basically made his striking work for him. Now, in my opinion, I don't think his striking is at the level of, let's say, TJ Dillashaw or Dominic Cruz, where he can change his striking with his grappling. The way Cruz sometimes likes to throw an overhand right while at the same time ankle pick someone. No, he's not there yet, but his striking is enough that he's a threat. He's a threat while standing. In the past, people would always say, no, Khabib can only do things when he takes you down, but now he can keep the fight standing. He's very capable of trading with you and keeping distance. So yeah, because of that, and also because of the takedown threat and because he can strike, he creates a paradox for his opponents where they're not sure whether to keep their hands low to defend from the takedowns or keep their hands high to defend from the punches. Because Khabib does have fast hands. He has fast twitch muscle fibers, which would help him immensely in throwing some really fast punches. So yeah. One other thing to keep in mind is that Khabib is actually quite heavy. He fights at 155 pounds, but in actuality, this man can make welterweight very easily. He has had issues. In fact, part of the reason Habib's taken so long to get a title shot, or part of that reason, stems from the fact that he has been pulled out of fights because of weight cutting complications. The most famous one was the third time he and Tony Ferguson were booked to fight at UFC 205. I believe sometime like the week of the fight, Khabib during the weight cut went to get something to eat, and the food did not agree with him, so he literally had to go to the hospital to have the food that he ate pumped out of him. So yeah, Khabib is quite big. And what that works is that when he gets on top of guys, his weight is quite immense. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. So like by the time the fight happens, he's not 155 pounds. He's more or less close to 170, maybe even 180. And yeah, that size means that that's a lot of weight that's gonna sit on you. That is a lot of weight that you are going to have to fight off with the grappling. So yeah, the pace that Khabib puts on guys is quite intense. It is quite intense because more often than not, it's very rare to find someone who can strike, who can put heavy ground and pound on guys the way this guy does. And I think if I had to say who I say does that well, Chael Sonnen was in that list. But yeah, so because he puts this thing where he's either tying your legs up, he's beating you in the face, working for submission, he's always making his opponents think. He's always putting his opponents in pressure. And I think the closest comparison I can think of is Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier back in the day, because of the way he fought, when he pinned guys up against in the corner of the ring, he would either be punching their hips, his head would be in their face, and he would always be constantly moving. So their bodies are getting tired, their minds getting worn out because they don't know what to do. And Khabib's in that category. He always puts his opponents in a situation where they are on the defensive. They're always panicking and trying to figure out what can I do. Yeah, that's one factor. So that is one of the reasons that when he starts to, pile on guys, they start to, lose up, give up, feel that there's no chance, and just start to quit. It's important to note that Khabib has been involved in combat sports from a very young age. I believe he started wrestling, and his dad was his coach. And he has been training from a very young age, so you can already see that he's been developing the muscles and the strength, the conditioning, the physicality to compete since childhood, and that's very important. When you look at certain sports like wrestling, it's important to pick them up at a young age. One of the few exceptions was George St. Pierre, who started wrestling as a full-grown adult before he went pro. He has been in combat sports his whole life. He has basically been refining everything about his skill set from a very young age. So combined all these factors together, Khabib is a very difficult opponent for Tony Ferguson. In the same vein that people say that Tony is Khabib's toughest test, I feel that any fight is hard for Tony, but Khabib is just a different animal. His mindset is unbreakable, as you saw with the Conor McGregor situation, and he's a lot to deal with. He is quite a lot. Now, the thing is, a lot of people would feel that Khabib's only weapon is to take you down and hit you, and I heard someone once say that Khabib doesn't care where the fight goes. Well, of course he would prefer the fight goes to the ground. Let's just be honest, it's his bread and butter. But he is fully capable of standing on people. That's the thing. And like I said earlier, because his grounded pound is so frightening, people are afraid. So they're afraid to come forward. We see this a lot with high-level grapplers, that people are afraid to come forward at them because they're afraid they'll be taken down. So they end up moving backwards a lot. And Khabib actually uses that to his advantage. most of Habib's, in fact, all of Habib's most epic ground and pound moments take place with his opponents against the fence, because when they're against the fence, they can't move around. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, at its best, requires a person to be on his back and have some space for them to work. Like, you don't need to squirm around, you need to wiggle your hips. But the way Habib forces, Habib was so afraid of Habib's ground and pound that they basically do his job for them. They put themselves against the fence, because normally in MMA people find if their backs against the fence, they can defend takedowns a lot easier. And you see that a lot. Most of the times when people get taken down, they're crawling to the fence because they're going to use the fence to get up. But Habib's like, oh, you think the fence is your safe zone? Not today, son. And he actually makes that the most dangerous place to be. So yeah, all those things combined, it's very dangerous. And because he knows people are afraid of the takedown, his striking actually helps his striking. His striking isn't what I would call the greatest, but like I said, because people are afraid of the takedowns, they actually allow him to hit them, which is quite interesting. His movement is also interesting. He's very good at lateral movement, not moving forward, but moving to the side. Think Muhammad Ali. Because of this lateral movement, he's very hard for people to get a read on. I think the person who had the most success in striking with Habib despite his lateral movement was Michael Johnson, because they kept doing this thing where they would always meet in the center and trade, and Johnson clipped him hard, which is, I'm pretty sure, the most hurt Habib was in a single round. But yeah, we also saw with Dustin Poirier. Poirier kept trying to chase down Habib, but Habib just kept moving to the side, so Poirier kept chasing and throwing punches at air, really, and it was doing him no favors. So yeah, that was really what was going on. So yeah, so again, Habib, very dangerous, very, very difficult to handle. And like I said, because of his weight, like I said, a lot of people once thought this man would go up to welterweight because of his weight. When he gets on top of you, he's very heavy. And well, Ferguson has dealt with heavy fighters. Habib is just huge. Like, even if you look at his frame compared to Ferguson, he just looks like the bigger guy. So he doesn't get tired. He's quite heavy and he is quite relentless. Hence why people are really excited about this fight, because it is going to be fireworks. So yeah. So all these things combined have made Habib a terrifying force in the world of mixed martial arts. And when people say he smashes people, he smashes them. In the Michael Johnson fight, I'll never forget, he kept telling Michael Johnson, just give up, just give up. And yeah, so yeah, just like before, I'll leave the links to these videos in the description below. They are from Muscle Madness, but I shall leave the specific links below. And I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think Khabib's gonna win? Do you think Tony's gonna win? I am gonna post the third video, kind of putting my final points as to what I think will be the deciding factor of the fight and what's gonna make it a great fight. And if you guys have stayed this far in the video, thank you so very much. I know this isn't the most exciting video, and I am still working on making content that is myself, not just me doing voiceovers. But yeah, and as I said in the opening of the video, in this recent stage of the world of the coronavirus, it's important that, you know, we stay and we just try to keep cool. And I will be posting home workouts on my Instagram. The page is the channel's Instagram. Again, I'll leave a link for that in the description. And if you guys need some ideas, I'll also make videos for the YouTube channel in case you guys want to check it out. If you guys like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and you know, please hit the bell notification, because that's the only way YouTube's gonna let you know when I upload a video. If you've watched this far, thank you so very much. I'm at 64. This is Never Stop Moving Forward, and I hope you appreciate the last 2 minutes of Habib getting ready to beat up Tony. Thank you so very much.